Episode 20 of the Maddie's Joy, an Angelman Journey podcast, is a very somber episode. As many of you know, Madeline did pass away on August 30th after suffering a medical event. There's so many of you who reached out to me, reached out to Nicole, and I decided to do this episode because many of you who were out of state, who expressed your desire to come to either the prayer service or the funeral and you could not make it, um, I decided to do a reading of the eulogy that I did at Madelynn's prayer service. In the Catholic tradition, the priest eulogizes the deceased at the actual service for um, at the actual service. So Nicole did a eulogy, and I'll let her, if she wants to share it in the future, I'll let her do that. Um, but this was the eulogy that I read the night before the funeral at the prayer service, and that way, those of you who could not make it can hear it now. Before I begin, there are two things I would like to address. First, Nicole and I cannot express our gratitude and thanks. Each and every single one of you in this room have helped us through our darkest days. Nicole said it best. It's so hard to be angry when we have such amazing people around us. Today, I want to especially highlight two people who were complete strangers to us before our hospital stay, Kelly and Kirsten. Those two ladies were Maddie's nurses throughout her hospital stay. They switched shifts with coworkers, picked up shifts, and did everything they could to be with us and with Maddie. Those two amazing women cared for Maddie with compassion and truly saved Nicole and I. We were honored to have them escort us during Maddie's honor walk. They are truly gifts from God. Secondly, I want to ask for a moment of silence. Our tragedy wasn't the only one that was experienced by the Angelman syndrome community over the past week or two. Please keep the families of Thea, Joel, Kirsten, Joshua, and Arthur in your prayers. Also JJ, who is the brother to an individual with Angelman syndrome. Please take a moment to think of all the families who have lost their children in the recent weeks, months, years, and all those Angelman families who need an extra prayer tonight. Madelynn Joan Birchmeyer lived an extraordinary life. She is a shining example that it's not the amount of time you're on this earth, but the substance of your life while you're here. Her story was not only seen throughout the country, but reached 22 other countries. She appeared on the front page of the USA Today. Her story was printed in the Detroit Free Press. She appeared in 2 music videos and had multiple songs written about her. They weren't necessarily by a world-class composer, but if you want to put me in that category, I won't stop you. Maddie didn't meet a stranger she didn't like, and so many people fell in love with her. She was an advocate, a fighter, a teacher. She was truly remarkable. If you saw her pictures on Facebook, you would have seen a sweet girl with a beautiful smile. What you might not know is that she was such a headstrong little girl. Maddie was nonverbal, but she sure knew how to get what she wanted. There might have been a time or two where I referred to her as a terrorist. As you all know, you do not negotiate with terrorists. But Maddie had me wrapped around her finger, and soon she got her way. When Maddie got her way, it was not enough. She had to let you know that she got her way. She would giggle and giggle and giggle. Maddie had to rub it in. Maddie loved her family. She adored all of her cousins and loved it when they doted on her. She loved her grandma and grandpa Birchmeyer. Maddie also had a special relationship with her great grandpa Birchmeyer and her great great aunt Alberta. There was no doubt about how much she loved her granny monster. Maddie enjoyed spending time with her Aunt Connie, Aunt Angela, Uncle Gary, Uncle Ryan, Uncle Brandon, and Aunt Santana. You all played such a huge role in Maddie's life. Maddie was a fighter. Her weeks were filled with appointment upon appointment. There was PT, OT, and home therapy visits. Mr. Micah, Miss Courtney, and Miss Carly can attest to the determination our little lady had. If Maddie did not feel like cooperating, she would soon start to figure out a way out of the situation. At times, Maddie would find a shortcut. At times, Maddie would fake cry. Sometimes there were real tears, and if all else failed, Maddie would just go limp. However, Maddie still loved each one of them. To Micah, Courtney, and Carly, I hope you know how much we appreciate you, how much we love you, and all three of you have become part of our extended family. Nicole and I weren't the only caregivers for Maddie. The staff at Reach for the Moon took Maddie in as their own. Maddie especially had a close bond with Miss Roxanne. The love that Miss Roxanne and Maddie had for each other was real. I used to say to Nicole, if Maddie ever ended up missing, Miss Roxanne was the one who took her. Thank you, Miss Roxanne, for all the love you showed our daughter. Then there is Donna, or as she likes to be called, Yaya. Words cannot describe how much you mean to our family. Yaya came into Maddie's life when Maddie was 3 months old and cared for Maddie until the end. Maddie had so much love for you. It took a village to raise Maddie. There were her doctors. There are too many to name, but I especially wanted to thank Dr. Miller, Dr. Cook, and Dr. Dewis. You all gave Nicole and I so much hope, and you helped give Maddie the best life possible. Oftentimes, if Maddie was in the hospital, either for an expected stay or an emergency, her room was filled with students, fellows, and attendings. They all came to learn from Maddie. They came to see how to care for a child with Angelman syndrome. Maddie was a teacher. Not only did Maddie teach medical professionals, but she taught us as well. Maddie taught me that it's the little things in life that truly matter. The best part of my day was to pick Maddie up from daycare. As soon as she saw me, she would get up onto her knees and start bouncing up and down. Her face would be bright, and oftentimes she let out a squeal of excitement. As we walked out of the daycare, she would wrap her hands around the back of my neck and hug me close. She taught me that the only thing that matters is the love of your family and friends. Maddie also could not get enough of her mom's cuddles. Maddie would grab Nicole by the hair and pull herself as close as possible. Maddie showed us the purest form of love. It wouldn't be Maddie's story if we didn't bring up the Angelman syndrome community. As a parent, you never want to be a part of a community, but we're so glad we landed where we did. Maddie introduced us to so many phenomenal people. All the amazing people we met at the Angelman Syndrome Family Conference. All of the families we've met online. The Grills, the Fergusons, the Nixes, the Blacks, the Moores, and countless others. Maddie was more than her diagnosis, but you all were a part of Maddie's story. In the end, Maddie's story was about sacrifice. Every mountain that we moved, every system we put in place, every medication that was given, could not save Maddie. God wanted her more. Every prayer, every kiss, Every hug, every tear could not bring Maddie back. God wanted her more. On August 28th, Nicole and I were informed that Maddie would not recover. Maddie's spirit was in the room with us that day. Without even saying a word to each other, we chose gift of life. It did not matter that it could be a week or more before Maddie's organs could be placed. In the end, Maddie's organs saved 5 lives. There are 5 families rejoicing tonight because of our Madelynn. She once again changed the world. When Maddie spoke with Jesus and recounted the 3 years, 2 months, and 27 days she spent on earth, I hope she told him about all the adventures she went on. I hope she told him about all the people she met. I hope she told him about all the fun she had. I hope she told him about the lives she impacted. I hope she told him about the lives she saved. Ultimately, I hope she told Jesus about how much she was loved. Nicole and I do not know what the future holds for us. We do know that we will always be a part of the Angelman syndrome community. We will never stop advocating and fighting on behalf of the 500,000 people worldwide who have been diagnosed. We also know that we are part of another community. We are a part of the Gift of Life community. Maddie's legacy will continue. Her hard work, determination, and love will show through us. I hope it's apparent how much we loved our little girl. It is beyond measure. It is beyond words. So I will not leave off with that. Instead, I'm here to challenge each one of you with a simple yet profound gesture. On February 15th, for Angelman Syndrome Awareness Day, wear blue. Tell a coworker. Tell a friend. Use the hashtag #RememberMaddie and continue our daughter's legacy.